I'm here today to support the Chicano and the Mexican, all immigrant communities, Haitian, my people, even white people. It's time for unity and love. It's not time for division or conquer or none of that. And until we learn that, we're going to be out here in these streets marching. Long live Nipsey Hussle. The marathon continues.
You may not protest today, but you will protest because this administration won't leave you any other option. Because this country ain't never left black folks with any other option. This fight will darken your doorstep, and when it does, it's not going to knock gently and ask you to come outside politely. It's going to kick that bitch in and drag you out. So you better be ready to fight. And I ain't saying this to shame or guilt trip nobody who feels like they don't want to show up for communities that don't show up for us. Because I understand the complexity of solidarity. I have been there on the front lines with brown folks who have shown solidarity with us. And I've also witnessed brown folks shoot at us on behalf of the police. But I also understand strategy. And at the end of the day, all of these fights are trying to put nails in the same motherfucking coffin. So at the beginning and at the end of the day, it's about us. Because all of these issues have a direct impact on us. There is no political issue that does not directly impact the black community. So don't fight today. Rest. But you better be ready. Because tomorrow very much so may be your day. Do not kid nor fool yourself into thinking that you just going to be able to sit out however many years we going to be living up under this dictatorship. You're not going to have that luxury. I promise.
I don't think the black Americans that are trying to sit this out until the Gestapo makes it to their front door really understand that now is the time. You don't want to fight the government once everyone else that they're trying to get away to get to you is gone. You don't want to wait until there's no Latinos in this bitch. You don't want to wait until there's no Arab people. You don't want to wait until there's no gay people or no smart people, because all the educated people with money are going to do a brain drain. It's already happening. You don't want to wait until it's just you and the indigenous people having to fight this government. You don't want to wait until then. That's not when you want to do the fighting. And what's crazy about their logic, right? Like, if everything goes in fruition like they think they want it to, when it is just niggas and indigenous people in this bitch being the victims of this shit, they're still gonna be like, well, you know, I don't give a fuck what's happening over there on them reservations, because they ain't do nothing for us. Like, niggas. At the very least, for self-preservation, you want the numbers. And what's wild is that the black community has suffered through so much of white supremacist conditioning that when it does boil down to it just being us versus the government, y'all are still gonna be like, well, I'm sitting this out. Because that light-skinned girl over there, she kind of look white any fucking way. Or I'm sitting this out because them black queer people over there, they don't do nothing for us. Y'all are gonna sit your way out into the gulags. On a humanity level, my ancestors do not allow me to ignore the strife. If your ancestors is not talking to you, that's fine. You know, not your church, not your ministry. But on the simple self-preservation level, you want the numbers. Like, y'all are not strategists. Y'all are just emotionally stunted because of what has happened to our community. That's all that this is. And, like, you guys really don't have the time for that shit, okay? Because once they figure this shit, they're figuring it out. The goal has always been to put us back in fucking chains. And if we got 37 different groups of people in between us and the chains, you would think you'd want to keep them 37 around. You would think you'd want to work. Like, sure, okay, there's racism in Latin America. Sure. There's also homophobia and transphobia in the black community. As a trans man, should I just sit it out while some fucking black dude who I know hates black women gets shot by the police? No, because I know the police will shoot my black ass too. Like, it's like, we had this conversation in 2020 and y'all didn't learn shit. Y'all don't be learning nothing from what is happening in recent history. That's why I don't want to tell y'all niggas to read books anymore. Because, like, y'all are not even learning what you were supposed to learn 5 years ago. This shit is wild. That whole I'm sitting this out is just Stockholm Syndrome with extra steps. Go to fucking therapy at the very least.
Man, how it feel, man? You ain't gotta take your kids to school and worry about if their parents gonna be there when they get home, man. How do you feel? How grateful should you be? You don't have to worry about that. It's kids going to school and coming home and their parents not there. Children. Come on, y'all. Come on, man. Y'all know this ain't right, man. Come on.
So y'all want black folks to come and fight with y'all. Come stand on the front line like we always have. But ain't this the same group that refuses to stop saying the N-word? This ain't the same group that was being racist in Zoe Spencer comments when she was going back and forth with that Hispanic creator? But now y'all want our help. Okay, interesting. Those were my initial thoughts, right? It's their war, let them deal with it. But that's an emotional response. Okay, that's pure bitterness, that's wrong. There's no sense of righteousness in that mindset. And even though it's not our fight, it is our fight. Okay, because today it's Hispanics and Latinos. But the only reason why we not grouped up with them is because technically, legally, we were born here. Okay, he arresting them. That nigga trying to annihilate our whole community. And to those of y'all that's making an argument of, well, undocumented immigration is illegal. This what happen when you break the law anywhere. Bro, this nigga put out a quota. This nigga Trump put out a quota, meaning these officers are required to meet a certain number of arrests. Anytime you put a quota on something, bro, it's bound for you to run into some outlawed, unlawful shit. You forcing the issue. This nigga dropping 2,000 National Guardsmen to arrest these folks, tear these people away from their families. Nigga, Flint, Michigan still ain't even got clean water. Motherfucking elementary schools, middle schools, high schools getting shot up. And this is what we prioritizing. If you don't see nothing wrong with that, bro, you just as fucked up. So to my black folks, it is our fight. Okay, we can't adopt the same mindset as our oppressors. All right, they want us to divide. That way it's easier to take us out. Cause today, it's Hispanic and Latinos. But that motherfucker in the White House, he don't look at us no differently. He itching to get us up out of here. It's only a matter of time. All right, we gotta be a part of the change that we want to see.
And something that's really been blowing me is I've seen black people, African-American black people down my TL talk about, oh, this ICE situation doesn't have anything to do with us. We don't have anything to do with that, y'all. We need to mind our business. How dare you? How dare you sit there in your slave-descended skin and you say overturning the 14th Amendment has nothing to do with us. The 14th Amendment gave birthright citizenship. Who didn't have birthright citizenship before the amendment was put into place? Us. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery, but it didn't guarantee equal rights. So y'all are sitting here and saying, oh, this doesn't have anything to do with this. It doesn't have... What if they're working backwards? What if they're working backwards? What if it's 14, 13, 12, 2? Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? How dare you sit here and be comfortable with children in churches, hospitals, and at school being rounded up to go sit in a detention center for an unannounced amount of time, because that's how long it takes. The shit that they've written out, it says that aliens can be arrested and put in a detention center and they'll get out eventually, however long that may take. But they're also subject to labor. They're subject to sit in detention centers and perform free labor until they can get out. What does that sound like to y'all? Who else sat in a little camp in somebody's backyard doing free labor? And you're talking about it don't have nothing to do with us. And you're okay with that. That's crazy. It's crazy that you can watch the same atrocities that were inflicted onto our ancestors. It's crazy you can watch that happen to somebody else and just... That's disgusting. And you should be fucking embarrassed. You should.
Apparently, this is a controversial take, but I will not be capitulating to fascism. I will not be silent. I will not be complacent. I will not stay home and do nothing. I will do something. I will go outside, engage in my community, and do something. Apparently, this is such a hot take. This is such a controversial take. Jesus Christ, right? Like, I understand Deontay Kyle's take. I said that in the video. I get it. I get where the frustration comes from. I totally understand. I get it. I'm just saying I'm not going for it. I'm not gonna capitulate. I'm not gonna stay silent. I'm not gonna stay complacent. Especially when we're talking about a group of people who have no power. They don't have citizenship. They don't have power. This is an oppressed class, a permanently oppressed class of people. Like, what the fuck? I'm not going for it. This is such a hot take, though. This is so controversial. This is wild. Jesus, God damn.
I am not going to go outside and put my body and my safety on the line. That being said, I'm not saying people should not go out and protest. If it's in your spirit to go out there and help in that way, definitely do that. But I am not going to do that for someone who would not piss on me if I was on fire, if the roles were reversed. Because
92% have always said that they were not going to do anything about anything after the election, and that's fine. I don't respect the idea, but I respect that it's yours. It's your right, and I'm not going to argue with you, and I have no intent on changing your mind. And considering the conversation was so popular months after the election and it had ended for a while, I thought we all understood that we heard you guys. You guys said you weren't going to do anything, and it is what it is. And while there's a lot of valid critiques and valid understanding for this idea itself, I'm not going to indulge into that. What I am going to say is I actually really did not like that video. Not necessarily because of the content of the video, because while she did start the video by saying that she's not going to do anything, she did also mention that she's not going to do anything like protesting. She's going to find other means to help, but she never clarified on how. It's not my business either. My biggest issue with the video, in fact, is that it was posted less than 15 hours ago. And what have we been talking about the past 24 hours ago? The Los Angeles ICE protests. The protests against ICE in defense of migrants and immigrants alike. Not just Mexican, because ICE is not just taking Mexican people. It just so happened to be that LA is crowded with Mexican people, and in that state, they're going after them. The past 24 to 48 hours, you've been seeing remarkable unity and strength from groups of people who have come to put themselves in harm's way to protect people who need our protection. For the past 24 hours, you've been seeing people actually play the role of security, unlike the cops that are supposed to protect us, and actually protect innocent people from being taken away. So my biggest issue with the video is the intent. What was the goal behind posting this video in the middle of us cheering up all of this that's been happening in the past 24 hours? Because one of the reasons she posted it, and it has to be the only reason she posted it, is because she might have seen those videos too. It's like going to a dance party that you don't want to go to because you have a broken leg, and you come to the dance party, everyone's dancing, and you tell everyone, well, I'm not going to be dancing because I have a broken leg. You already said you weren't going to do it. You guys put your foot down and said, I'm protecting my peace. It is what it is. No one's going to argue with you. Well, I'm not going to argue with you about that anymore. I don't care. But at the same time, there's no need for you to deter people from watching what's actually relevant. Protect your peace and space by yourself, but allow other people to enjoy what's being watched. And while this isn't in any way, shape, or form to dismiss what black people have faced, like anti-blackness and racism in the hands of other communities, including minorities, but in an interesting way, it's like you centered yourself in this predicament even though you want nothing to do with it, as if people were waiting outside your house with microphones asking you, hey, what are you gonna do? And you delivered the shocking news that, again, you're not gonna do nothing, except for maybe support a local Mexican restaurant like somebody mentioned in your comments, which, again, this is your TikTok. I can't really tell you to delete the video. But it's weird because in the past 24 hours, there's been a sight of community, a sense of companionship between people that have been arguing for the past months about this, that, and the third. For the past 24 hours, we saw a sight of community and companionship with a group of people, a cluster of people that's been arguing since after the elections about this, that, and the third. A community driven on protected people who had nothing to do with the elections, people who actually need to be protected. And while I can understand the valid goals that you and anybody else may have with putting yourself at the front lines as a black person, it's far more important for us to see this kind of companionship, community, and allyship happening, so then we can begin to actually work on the internal issues that we have with working with each other, rather than promoting this kind of divisive content once more. And if that's not your cup of tea, then it is what it is. Then taking away moments from the honorable things that we're seeing right now to remind people once again kind of about you, that you're not willing to do anything, that these people have harmed you, and everything else you want to put in between these lines is so harmful and it's so unnecessary. We already know.
I'm opposed to this aggressive pursuit of undocumented immigrants because it leads to abuse. Like, we've seen this the past couple of months. For instance, y'all remember the man who was going into Florida. He was a U.S. citizen. His mother had his documents. He's 100% a U.S. citizen. But if I recall, they said he did not speak fluent English, which is not a crime. It is not a crime. If I want to walk around and talk like Darwin, I can talk like Darwin from the Wild Thornberrys if I wanted to. That is not a crime. As long as when officers stop me, I can provide my documentation, then I'm not breaking any laws. And he showed the judge that he was a U.S. citizen. He was still detained by ICE. Like, how do you discern a U.S. citizen from an undocumented immigrant just looking at somebody off the street? You don't. Like, you don't. As a civilian, I'm talking like you and I are civilians. This is why, like, I'm completely opposed to how antagonistic people are against undocumented immigrants, because it's 100% impossible for you to know that guy has his documents and that guy doesn't. No one knows. So why are civilians getting involved in the conflict? It's like, why are they floating the idea of deputizing people to be like ICE agents or something like that to go and make arrests for ICE? Like, no. Like, what? Bounty hunters? Like, what is a bounty? Like, bro, bounty hunter programs have no place with DHS, bro, at all. That's a horrible idea. It's beyond even having heart and empathy at this point. It's like common sense. They're getting the worst ideas. And I say this because we know that people will abuse power, especially specific people who are power hungry. They will abuse power if they feel like they're entitled to it. Like, as a regular person walking around the street, like, you honestly have no business like being antagonistic against undocumented immigrants, because like it's impossible for you to know, bro. And you can't just like, what are you gonna do? Go up to somebody and be like, hey, do you have your documents? Like, no, bro, it's dumb. It's foolish and idiotic. So like, you honestly, like, here's my take on it. Like, if y'all want me to be real, I feel like if you just an average Joe who work a job, you don't work for the government, you have no place like in kind of enforcement or anything, you don't need to have a negative opinion on undocumented immigrants, because like it's impossible for you to know if someone's undocumented or not. Like, at all. Like, even if someone doesn't speak a lick of English, like zilch, zip, not of English, it still doesn't mean anything, because it's not illegal to not know English, bro. It's not illegal to not be able to read English, bro. So like, you could be a U.S. citizen and not have anything to do with English. You like not know English at all. That's why I be trying to tell people, bro, it's like, it's inhumane how undocumented immigrants are being treated. And I know a lot of the videos I post, they come off as like over simplistic, but because they are, bro. It's a simple concept. They're being treated inhumanely, man. Anyone with a heart can see this. Like, families are being broken up. It'd be different if someone like was robbing a bank, or someone was holding up old ladies at the red light, and then they take them to jail, and it's, oh, this guy, he's not even from the U.S. Okay, no one's arguing about that. But they're taking people from going to work, bro. Like, you just driving on to work, minding your own business. You just want to work a job. And golly, they finna send you back to your own country for no other reason than you trying to work a job, and you're not over here with documents. How is that even right, bro? You got a daughter, you got a wife, and then people will be talking about, oh, well, you shouldn't have came over here in the first place. Bro, anyone in the U.S. will say that they will do anything for their children. Like, anybody, or so they claim. People claim they love their kids, but they don't understand that. That makes you think, do people really love their kids, or do people really love their families? Think about it. Because do you think someone could really love their family and then sit back and watch someone else get torn away from their family and then think that's right? Do you think someone who loves their family would think something like that is right? No, I don't think so.
Bitch, I'm sitting here trying to figure out why the fuck my elote man ain't come yet, because he come around the same time every motherfucking day. He don't miss no days off, okay? No days off around this bitch. And I'm like, why he ain't come? So I walked down to his house. Why the fuck the neighbors told me his ass got deported? So fuck y'all motherfuckers. Fuck all y'all asses. I hope y'all burn in motherfucking hell. Y'all gonna sit here and deport my motherfucking elote man? My motherfucking elote man, the realest nigga on this motherfucking block? The only elote man that's gonna give you an elote on a stick for $1? The only motherfucker that's gonna give you a manganata for $2? Fuck y'all asses, man. Y'all wanna talk about these motherfuckers as illegal, bitch? Y'all the first illegals in motherfucking America. Y'all want to talk about all this shit? You can't be illegal on stolen motherfucking land. Let's ask the motherfucking Native Americans what they think about this shit. Them the real motherfucking Americans. The fuck y'all asses gonna deport my motherfucking elote man. Fuck all y'all motherfuckers. I hope y'all burn in the deepest, darkest part of hell. And if y'all don't believe in motherfucking hell, I hope a motherfucker just walk up on you randomly and throw motherfucking gasoline on your ass and light you on motherfucking fire, bitch. That's how I motherfucking feel right now. And y'all better not touch my motherfucking taco lady on, bro. Y'all better not touch my taco lady, because I'm coming around and beat motherfucking asses myself. The fuck? Y'all gonna take my motherfucking elote man? This shit hurt my heart, man. That man didn't do no wrong to nobody. All he did was sell shit. Y'all motherfuckers is wrong, bro. This shit ain't right. Fuck all y'all. It's personal at this point. That was like my motherfucking family. I've been knowing that nigga for years, bro. Y'all motherfuckers is fucked up. The fuck?
I hope y'all ass catch on fire. I hope a whole bunch of ants and bed bugs just eat your ass to death. That's how I feel about all motherfuckers right now. Anybody that ain't colored, bro. Fuck all y'all motherfuckers that ain't colored, bro. Fuck all y'all. Dead homies. Y'all, I don't give a fuck if you stand with the shit or not. You automatically guilty. Like, y'all paint that image on certain group of peoples that they automatically guilty. Y'all asses is automatically guilty in my motherfucking book. Point blank. Fuck all y'all. Shit.
The easiest way for me to measure my humanity is to know that I don't wake up sounding like a white supremacist. The talking points of people from marginalized identities about other people from marginalized identities. Y'all got that from NASA? All of a sudden, everybody proud to be an American? Y'all saying the Pledge of Allegiance?
From a pure reactionary standpoint, this would probably make a lot of sense to a lot of people, a lot of black people, right? But from any other standpoint that's based in any sort of logic, whether it even be emotional logic or just like, analytical logic, it doesn't make sense. The take's fucking ass. I understand that there's always an emphasis on black people when anything happens. I get it. I really do. But in a time like this where there are literal people being kidnapped, right? And not just the brown Hispanics, our Hispanics too. Our demographic, racial demographics, Hispanics too, are being kidnapped and shipped off, ripped away from their families. It's not the best time to make this sort of reactionary take. It's just not. I mean, like, why now? Like, that's what I'm stuck on. They need attention and help. And it's just like, what point are you proving? What are you gaining from this? Like, truly, what are you gaining from being like, oh, no, I'm closing myself off because y'all don't give a fuck about us, so I'm not going to give a fuck about y'all. Why are you generalizing an entire demographic of people and making it seem like none of them have helped us ever? It's just not fucking true. It's like, what do you think's going to happen next? They're going to round them all up, right? Who do you think they're going to come for next? The people that they've already been using as their punching bags. Well, it's the same fight. There are different levels to it, but it's the same fight against the same opponent. And you're aiding the opponent by taking supporters away from the people that need them. Whatever, man.
So there is a video from the protest of some people talking to like ICE or whatever and calling them the N-word. They are not black. So I bring this up because I just saw somebody talking about the whole thing that Deontay Kyle said about, today is Black and Brown Pride and tomorrow I'm the N-word. It seems like it doesn't even have to be tomorrow. It can be while you're walking right next to them protesting.
I disagree with this Deontay Kyle tweet that everyone's talking about, but I don't disagree with it in the same way that a lot of people seem to disagree with it. One, I think it's really, and this is a problem that plagues the left in general. Maybe it's just a human thing, right? But we are constantly looking for ways to divide when it is counterproductive, which I think is tied up in why I disagree with his tweet in the first place, right? But it applies to the way that people are reacting to his tweet too. Like, I was talking to a friend the other day, and basically, to put it in an analogy, they were like, we concern ourselves with bridges 5 rivers away. And it's like, why are we bringing that here? We haven't even crossed this one. I think the same is true here. The man's not going to bat 100 every time. And the fact that people are so willing to throw eggs at someone who's risking something by putting their face out there while they're risking nothing and get to preserve their anonymity and all their bad takes behind that, opaque wall of their personal life, I think that's whack. I think that's really whack. And, it is a display of how social media dehumanizes all of us. So I would just ask, are we critiquing the tweet or are we critiquing the guy? And in either case, to what end? Is there a punitive goal in mind or a constructive goal in mind? Because we've all been conditioned to seek out punitive justice, punitive goals, punitive discourse. It's all about who's getting punished, who's getting axed. That's baked into you. That's how we've all been taught to see discourse. That's why we're where we are. It always is going to distill down to brinksmanship and to polarization, because that's how we've come to understand everything, right? It's all combat. All that aside, I disagree with the conclusion, but I agree with the analysis. End of the day, yeah, everybody is really anti-black. That is my lived observation existing in the world. And I think any black person that's really tapped in and paying attention will have the same observation, even amongst ourselves, even within our own minds. Anti-blackness is a crust that undercuts the entire goddamn American project, the American apple pie, and beyond. You go anywhere, you go to the Philippines, you go to Colombia, you go anywhere, bro. Anti-blackness is pervasive. We're not going to pretend like that's not true. And it is an issue. That being said, on multiple levels, I don't think that sitting out is the right solution on multiple levels. But I understand the frustration because it's like in every case, we're always asked to be the ones to put the shit to the side and wait for it later, right? And it always remains. After every victory, it always remains, right? It's frustrating. Yeah, like it's fucked up, and it's a problem that goes all the way down the identity hierarchy in the Western world. Like women in the Black community have to be in solidarity with men like myself who have all this internalized misogyny, right? Point blank. And if you're acting like you don't, then you're just not acknowledging it. And yet it's like it would be counterproductive in some instances for them to be like, well, I'm not dealing with anyone who has any internalized misogyny, because it's like, all right, well, that's half of my allies. It's the same thing for Black people. It's very frustrating and it breeds pessimism. And I think we should be given some grace for that. That being said, and this is kind of diverging from this specific situation now, this whole rest is resistance narrative that you see cropping up all over the place, right? Rest is resistance is the path of least resistance in conversations about resistance. And so it is becoming increasingly popular, right? And it is absolutely one of those mechanisms that the status quo makes use of to quell dissent. And I'll just leave it at that.
Xenophobic, that's wild. That's reaching. I'd like to believe that you're a very highly intelligent woman. This is an African-American man that made this statement that that you're pretty much talking about here. You know the history of this country. You know the history of Black people in this country. That statement is the sound of a man who's historically and generationally and spiritually tired. Everything he said about civil rights leaders, everything he said about Dr. King, absolutely true. Let's not get it twisted that that Hispanics in this country, they do tend to lean towards being white adjacent. Now, I'm going to preface this and say that I did not see all his tweets. I saw snippets of them, and majority of them, all of them, he didn't lie. The truth is messy. I think sometimes we just don't like the truth. To call him xenophobic is, nah. You seem smart. You seem highly intelligent. Don't play dumb. Like, sit with that. Like I said before, sit with that. Let it thaw out. He has every right to what he said. I don't see anything wrong with it. And it's just unfortunate the divide that's going on, the position Black people have been put in this country, and how like we've all been split to show up for Mexicans when in reality they don't show up for Black people when Black people need them. So to dogpile on him, that's crazy. And I'm going to say this again. You seem like a very intelligent person. So like I said before, I think you should sit with this. I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm a big supporter of his. I'm not saying he's perfect, but not even his feelings, the truth he spoke is valid.